very first thing we're greeted to in this game is a jukebox playing Fade Away from the credits of the second game, which isn't something I expect to hear in a bar on Bourbon Street. I expect to hear jazz or something with a bit more swing to it, not a somber tune like this. Second, isn't this supposed to be a bar in the infamous parallel of New Orleans? Shouldn't there be a hell of a lot more people in here than just Zeke?
Beer, please.
Kat walks up to the counter and asks for a beer when there's clearly no bartender present. Free tap, I guess.
You are not from around here, are you?
What makes you say that?
I would recognize such a beautiful pair of eyes.
This would suggest that Zeke has seen every woman's breast in New Marais, which means he either needs to be registered as a sex offender, or he spends most of his time helping Cole on the phone while tossing $1 bills at strippers in the cabaret. Take your pick.
Maybe you were too busy reading your kitty books to notice.
Someone's never heard of Watchmen.
You know my buddy Cole McGrath? He used to make fun of it too.
The Cole McGrath?
One and only.
The Demon of Empire City.
That's what they call him.
Kat knows Cole's Demon of the Empire City title, meaning she's been in the city long enough to catch Bertrand's propaganda and that she's basically trapped in New Marais. Either she came to the city at a bad time, or Zeke is totally wrong about her not being from here. Also, she now takes an interest in listening to the pervert who knows the supposed local terrorist instead of turning him in. Does this look like the guy you recruited into the militia just because he drinks a lot and has your accent? Does this TV always have reception this bad? Even if it didn't, I'm surprised that it isn't playing baseball or football or something.
Every pirate night, the folks in New Marais go certifiably apeshit.
You thought you were going to be spared narration in a Sucker Punch game, didn't you? You'd be wrong. You also thought I'd let it slide because Zeke is literally telling a story to another character. Oh, my naive viewer. Also, Zeke is somehow narrating without a comic book cutscene. Who are you and what have you done to Sucker Punch?
Me and my boy, we were there for the last one.
Assuming Kat keeps up with current news, she should be calling bullshit on this story right now if Zeke claims that all this took place in the previous year, where Cole was essentially a no-name bike courier and had no powers for every news media outlet to be making headlines out of.
We couldn't even get a beer before folks started howling out for help from beneath the church.
If people keep disappearing, why not close down the catacombs under the church? And why haven't the cops done anything about it? Either they're lazy, or they just don't give a shit. Also, you can hear people crying out from beneath the church? I doubt a few dozen people are going to be loud enough to get through several feet of concrete and underground tunnels to the streets above.
Back then, if folks were suffering, he'd be right there to lend a hand.
Zeke speaks of a back then time frame as if Cole is dead in the present or missing, while in the bar, he talks about Cole as if he's still alive.
We were getting decorations from beneath the church and the ceiling started falling in. Think there are more folks trapped down there.
You keep your decorations in a dark underground tunnel? Don't you people have a closet or storage unit or something? Cole blatantly ignores and doesn't question the sudden cloud of bats swarming around him. Sure, bats can live in tunnels like this, but they don't just suddenly apparate out of thin air.
I'm in need.
Was that supposed to be a jump scare? No, really, am I supposed to be scared of this game? So this one vampire flunky was able to knock Cole out and then proceed to get him in chains? As usual, playable characters suck during cutscenes.
They'd opened up a vein in his neck and started dripping blood into some matchstick of a corpse. Cole's a conduit. He's superhuman. And his blood, whew, it did the trick.
I won't ask how a conduit's blood is supposed to be able to bring vampires back to life. And don't give me the super healing thing, because she was 100% dead.
I hear they named a cocktail after me. The Bloody Mary. Oh god, I hate that name.
I'm pretty sure that people named it either because of the red color and spicy flavor, or the other mythological Bloody Mary who murders people in front of mirrors. Not you.
Well, my dear, I control you now. In fact, come sunrise, all of your free will be mine.
Hang on, my ears are picking up a familiar voice. Lucrezia Crescent! Ooh, I don't need any further motivation to kill this bitch. She's still making evil, psychotic monsters with god complexes. Cole turns into a vampire and he's automatically considered evil enough to have red lightning. I haven't even done anything but heal people in this game. Okay, so the vampires took his amp, but he didn't even notice his bag was significantly lighter to find it was missing until now. Instant steak that requires no screws or nails to put together in 2 seconds. It kinda just sticks together like Legos. The vampire just kinda lets him craft the one weapon in lore that can kill him indefinitely. You have a crossbow, dude, shoot him! Apparently, wood conducts electricity just as well as metal does. Even though I can power up my moves by completing feats, it's still a step backwards from Infamous 2. I went from being able to pick any power I had to only being able to use the ones I had on hand like in the first game. And we all know Cole's more versatile than that. 8 hours before sunrise. At least 2 of those hours is going to be spent standing on a roof waiting, isn't it?
Hi, mister. You know what fire's at around here?
This lady just wanders into Fort Philippe looking for the main event of the night. I guess the deathly silence and total lack of people tipped her off that the party was here. Cole gets turned into a vampire and he's suddenly able to ingest any type of blood without going into hemolytic shock.
You're one of us now. Embrace your new life. It's wonderful.
Cole hasn't yet mastered turning himself into a lightning bolt, but he can split into a swarm of bats within 5 minutes of being turned into a vampire. I know I'm probably alone on this one, but the worst thing they could have given Cole was the power to fly. One of his major character traits is teaching himself how to climb unassisted to badass levels. But no, you just had to make that entire part of his identity obsolete. What next, teleporting on the map through fast travel? Oh wait. No woman would get drunk and look forward to getting pregnant during a festival. You want the momentary stimulation, lady, not the thousands of dollars spent in childcare for 18 plus years.
Zeke, I got bitten by a vampire.
Really? Do you look more handsome than normal? Do teenage girls suddenly find you irresistible?
Still a better love story than Twilight.
I tried fighting back against the vampire who bit me, but she gets inside my head and takes control.
If by take control you mean gives me an irritating headache for 3 seconds, then sure. So far, she hasn't, and never will, control your limbs and make you do a silly river dance. Bring me the black materia, this is not.
Yeah, okay. That's a start. Hey, maybe I'll run into a few vampire groupies while I'm out there.
Yeah, until you get the urge to drink them.
Huh. Father Ignatius Demon Slayer.
The only mention of Father Ignatius is here in the park at a concert, in big bold print like he's the lead singer of the band. Kinda stretching for breadcrumbs to follow here.
You thinking he had some kind of technique for dealing with the blood guzzlers?
I mean, it couldn't just be because he founded the church and New Marais is super religious, could it?
Yeah, I'm just hoping it works without having to get ordained. Vow of chastity and all that.
Abstinence. I sure wouldn't know anything about that. Long nights alone, staring at a bikini magazine. Yeah, that's boring territory to me.
Okay, good talk.
At least Zeke acknowledges that he's a creep in his own fantasy world and that Cole might be on the respectable side of the conversation. I see that if any woman gets turned into a lackey vampire, they all become completely identical in every way, down to the facial features and 5-inch heels. Oh no, I forgot this was trying to be a horror game.
I mean, it's really looking like it was Ignatius and George married way back when. But I've got to figure out how he got close.
So just because a bunch of people were shouting "Burn, Mary, burn" at the church and a bunch of harpies jumped you, that it's indefinite proof that Ignatius at some point had a conflict with Bloody Mary. Seriously, reaching for straws and logic here?
Come on and let me take y'all back in time, friends. Back to the early days of New Marais.
I have a feeling that most of the game's budget went into the shadow puppet scene. This puppet shows that the vampires had horns, unless the storyteller confused them with demons. All I'm really getting out of this is that I was disappointed to not encounter horned vampires or a monster form of Bloody Mary.
And as flames licked at her heels, the Devil Woman revealed her true form while shouting out a curse, vowing that one day she'd return and take her revenge.
I'll come back and have my revenge cliché.
Alright, Z. I need you to look up where Ignatius is buried in St. Charles Cemetery.
Cole needs Zeke to search the internet for Ignatius's grave when it was clearly shown in the puppet show. Plus, you'd think someone as important as him would have a highly conspicuous marker.
Man, I'd love to get me a goth girl. All that eye makeup, that'd be like kissing a raccoon. Whew, that's hot.
You have your prompt, fanfiction writers. Zeke and Sly Cooper. Bonus points for ancestors, including Tennessee Kid. Get to it. So did this firstborn really need to blend in with the crowd while his buddy was digging up the barbed cross? Doesn't seem like he really needed the backup. I literally kill more people in this game when they are possessed and attack me than I do sucking their blood. You really want to drive the evil karma home, don't you, game?
You want the barbed cross? Then open your eyes as a vampire. See only as we can.
Cole only finds out about his vampire powers when Mary tells him, like Cole has no ingenuity of his own in using powers. Also, she's now helping him find the weapon that is the only thing he can kill her with. I get this woman is cocky, but damn. Main antagonist has to be stupid for shortened playtime. Save him the trouble of making him find it and just give it to him, why don't you? Oh good, I can follow the echoes of vampires now. Couldn't he just do that in the first place with his electricity?
What is this? Blood? They're stashing jars of blood where anyone could find them, a kid. Well, I guess it's my civic duty to find them and drink them all.
I mean, you could dispose of it properly like a normal person, but sure, vampire it up, dude. Also, they stored the blood for later? Is there a special reason for that? Does it taste better all cold and curdled?
Following that big bat's echo was getting old. He was really ready to find that cross.
Zeke says exactly what the audience is feeling right now.
The core was made of sacred wood. No joke.
Okay, but what kind of wood? Oak, cypress, what? Kinda matters what wood you're using depending on what folklore you're following. Could be that plastic faux wood crap for all we know.
It was the ultimate bloodsucker slayer.
Ignatius went to great lengths to make his cross the ultimate vampire killing tool, but forgot to implement garlic. You know the game is creating irrelevant tension when you complete a level in 10 minutes, but apparently it was more like 4 hours.
Marks lit up in his mind. He could understand what had been written there. It was a story, meant to educate new vampires about the life and times of that blood-sucking bitch, Bloody Mary.
So how long did it take for Mary to make all these insignias with her chronicled stories in them? Longer than 4 hours? I think longer than 4 hours. Also, if these things have been around the whole time, why is Cole able to just now sense them? Unless they had only been created in the short time he was in the catacombs, the fact that they were done in even shorter than 4 hours' time is getting ludicrous.
You know what? Maybe the room where they kept Bloody Mary's corpse. I'll go check it out.
Right on. I'll meet you at the cathedral and we'll retrace your steps when you first went in.
Oh, so I gotta go back into the catacombs where I just was? It's not like it's a giant maze down there, it's really just one big, long, snaking tunnel.
Yeah, look, man, I appreciate the offer, but, I got this under control.
Sun's gonna come up. You only got a few hours left.
It's too dangerous, see? I better go out this alone.
After the first game, I thought Zeke could understand why it isn't a good idea to join in on Cole's dangerous capers. But this is fairy tale land, so he can inch his way into the spotlight when he feels like it.
You know, man, I've been thinking, you're kind of badass as a vampire. I mean, being able to turn into a big old flock of bats and things like that, that's pretty cool.
We haven't run into Zeke physically in the game yet, so how does he know Cole can turn into bats?
Yeah, and I can eat a lot of bugs. Like crazy fast. It's awesome.
This idle banter only raises more questions. If Cole eats a bunch of bugs while he's turned into a flock of bats, do each of their stomachs meld into a single organ when he recombines? Does he suddenly find insects appetizing? Can I please see him hanging upside down, sleeping just once?
I'm sure they'll make a comic book out of me.
Sure, they'll call you the bug biter.
With all the comics that Zeke reads, I'm surprised he isn't aware of Post Blast or Infamous numbers 1 through 6.
Man, the vampire sense is tingling.
Please do not mix your Spider-Man in with my Infamous ever again. And the fact that Cole is an honorary DC character makes this Marvel reference even worse.
That's the vampires, man. They can glamour people, make them see things that ain't there, even walls.
And if the vampires can create illusions, why can't Cole?
Hey, so they put in some sort of dumbwaiter with like a propane tank in it? Says white phosphorus on the side.
Whatever you do, do not shoot that tank.
Okay, alright. I'll just smoke the elevator's engine.
White phosphorus will set fire to anything. Couldn't be more dangerous. Although it is kind of cool.
The only reason we're not allowed to blow up the white phosphorus right now is because Zeke needed a reason to be of any use in this story during the final boss. Cole can easily stand outside the door and fry it, thus foiling Bloody Mary's revenge scheme and saving the city. Oh look, hidden markers pointing the way to the hidden doors. It's almost like vampires are the only ones that could possibly thwart vampires. And on that note, wouldn't it be safer if Bloody Mary just told her minions telepathically where the doors were, and then they could just put some effort into memorizing those locations? I'm assuming they've been living down here in these relatively simple corridors long enough to know where the maintenance elevators could be.
More the same, plus some sort of iron key.
Huh. Kill the engine first. Then maybe that key will fit in the big old iron door near the east end of the tunnel. Hey, that could be Mary's crypt room.
See, I thought I said it was too dangerous to come down here.
With all the vampires crawling around down here, Zeke shouldn't have a chance. But nope. Chalk up another one on the hero of his own story tally. And who the f*** was careless enough to drop the key to Bloody Mary's room in the middle of the floor by the white phosphorus? The one door that's way more important than all the others isn't hidden behind an illusion. Even Zeke saw it without vampire vision. I'm honestly confused whose storytelling I'm criticizing at this point, Zeke's or Sucker Punch's.
As a governess, man, she was great with kids. Unfortunately, one of them gave her smallpox. She was all but dead when a secret admirer decided that she was too beautiful to slip away. Reborn as a vampire, Mary was always at Marco's side.
Why, thank you, kind stalker. Now that I am a vampire, the children I used to take care of will now run at the mere sight of me. I suppose I have no choice but to love you.
The cave pooper with the cross is just going in circles. I swear, man, this is a setup.
The firstborn is holding on to the barbed cross with no ill effects, yet later when Cole is actually in possession of it, he can kill these things in one blow. And why keep going in circles to set a useless trap for Cole? He doesn't have much time left before he's permanently turned into a vampire. Go hide that shit. Throw it in a lake, you asshole.
Yeah, I gotta go for it, Zeke. If I don't whack Mary in the next few hours, I'm gonna be a punk.
No, it literally just said you have 1 hour until sunrise.
She threatened to dress me up in a sailor outfit, Z.
No, really. He's genuinely concerned about the suit thing. God forbid he wears something other than a plain t-shirt or a long-sleeve jacket. It's worse than death.
You're playing with fire, newborn. You may have gifts beyond the average vampire, but my patience will not necessarily.
Oh, well, if it's really such a bother, maybe you should, I don't know, turn his brain to mulch.
For your own good, Cole, you need to be knocked down. Now don't worry, you won't die. Your limbs will be sewn back together with time. And by then, I'll make sure you're as docile as a lamb.
That's the first actively aggressive thing she's said all game. Now, are you going to come do it yourself while he doesn't have the cross, or are you going to just let your pushover lackeys fail just like they've done 15 times already? Oh, and don't bother keep mind controlling him. It's not like that ensure your victory or anything.
Damn. This thing's... Damn.
Just getting near that cross made Cole's undead skin crawl and itch. It was powerful, all right. Just the thing to end Mary and her kin.
Okay, sure, he can attach the cross to his stake with electromagnetism, but he can hold on to it? The ultimate bloodsucker slayer. Doesn't even hurt anymore. Just itches, huh? I'm getting sick of this anything goes for the protagonist crap. 10 cents.
Don't you worry about me, Zeke. With this cross, I'm made in the shade. Sun's almost up, Mary. And I got no intention of being your sailor bitch.
You want to know why this suit thing is annoying? There are plenty more embarrassing and worse things he could wear. I'd list them all here, but then we'd be here forever. Indulge yourself with this food for thought in the comments section.
This is not acceptable. That death romp.
Running away. I expected more.
And now the cross is a problem. Throw on 10 more sins because she practically handed that little piece of shit MacGuffin to him. Nearly any other enemy or civilian would die when electrocuted in water, but not Zeke because in his fantasy, he's made of rubber.
Oh shit, Cole. The sun.
Cole doesn't immediately burst into flames, turn into a full vampire as soon as the sun comes up. Cole and Zeke jump down a hole to get in here, but now it's just a regular flight of stairs heading into the courtyard. No, please, go right ahead taking your time with that kill switch. Nope. Cole still totally looks like a vampire. He's still got fangs and red eyes.
Oh, come on now, that's true.
Oh no.
It's mostly true.
Really?
There are parts of that story that are absolutely true.
Zeke tries to keep rolling with the validity of his story, even though there were enough plot conveniences to make Stephanie Meyer's writing look good. And I am not okay with that.
I could show you what I do with a feather.
Ooh.
An electric toothbrush.
See,
And a-
perfect. Knew I'd find you here.
He lives! Then again, this could have been poignant if he'd already sacrificed himself. Also, shit! Is this starring Infamous too? How much time did Zeke waste in this bar picking up this bitch when he should have been doing, quote, spy work for her?
Listen, ran into a little bit of a problem.
Hey.
I dropped my amp into a pool.
I'd love to know what pool he could have possibly lost his amp in, considering there isn't a single private or recreational pool in all of New Marais. Don't believe me? Go look. You'll find plenty of fountains, lakes, and large bodies of water, but not one single swimming pool. And once again, if you aren't controlling the character, they'll suddenly turn clumsy and drop their weapons into their mortally fatal weakness. This probably explains the time card cuts that go for hours while waiting on rooftops.
Into a pool and
Cole. Kind of busy here,
Ooh.
man.
it's not bad.
I'll do it. I'd love to go for a swim. Especially on a hot night like tonight.
Rather.
Oh no.
Cole could ask Quo or Nix to do this for him, but instead he goes looking for Zeke to go diving after his amp. He could have just insisted on finding one of them, and I can't believe I'm saying this, let Zeke keep the girl.
Thanks for the story, Zeke. Very educational.
Oh, shit!
Is Kat a real vampire, or is Zeke drunk to the point of hallucinating? Discuss.
Really? Do you look more handsome than normal? Do teenage girls suddenly find you irresistible?